When I was in Timor, there was an older man who lived next door but one to me. He ran a little kiosk shop.
Yeah.
I always used to have a chat with him when I'd go to the shop for something. And his nephew used to look after my dog for me.
Oh.
But I noticed the old man started being hobbly, you know, and
Yeah.
limping, and it sounded, he'd be sat on a little stool in his shop waiting for customers, and when you'd go in, he'd be like, struggling to get up. And so I asked his nephew, who lived with him, what's going on with your uncle? And he said, oh, he's got a boo-boo, which means a swelling.
Ah, right, okay.
On his hip.
Yeah.
So I said, well, he needs to go to the clinic. He needs to, and Uncle wouldn't go. So I started working with his nephew to try and persuade, to find the right language where the nephew could make his uncle understand
what was going on.
That it was important to go to the clinic. And eventually I got knocked up really early one morning, and it was my dog's nanny. My uncle said he'll go today. I said, right. Quickly got dressed.
Yeah.
Threw him in the car and drove him up to the clinic. And they saw him straight away, so because he was nervous, because in his head, when you go to a hospital or a clinic, it means you're going to die.
Right, yeah. And so many people have that perception anyway, don't they?
Anyway, the doctors had a look at it. They decided to take a sample from this swelling, but they were frightened of putting a needle in because if it popped,
you don't know what's
it would be in the air.
Ah, yeah, God, yeah.
It would be what they call aerosolized. And I said to them, why don't you just get some sterile water on a gauze, put that over the boo-boo, the swelling, and then you can put your needle through the gauze and take the sample that way. And they went, oh yeah. And then they put the sample in what they call oh God, the word's just gone out of my brain. PCR machine. And what that does, it looks for certain DNA types in the sample. Yeah. And you can program it to look for different illnesses. So we had one at the clinic, and it was programmed to look for TB. And all the bells and whistles went off. Yeah, sure. Uncle had TB, but he'd obviously had it when he was younger. Yeah. It settled down.
Gone dormant,
and then it's popped up again as he's gotten older, and it's come out in his bone on his leg and made they called it a cold abscess. Yeah. Because it wasn't red hot, and it wasn't. It wasn't, yeah. It was just swelling there. Anyway, he got on treatment, so then I had to get his nephew to fully understand that he became like his uncle's supervisor for making sure he took his medication. Because Uncle would feel better quite quickly and think, I don't need that medication, I'm not ill anymore.
And then stop it.
And then it would return.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and I was really happy just before I left. Yeah. Uncle was out in the street playing cricket with the kids.
Oh, lovely.
And, you know, wasn't limping. I try and speak the language still.
Right. And what language is it over there?
It's called Teton.
Right.
It's a local indigenous language to the country, but it's peppered with words from Portuguese language. There's a lot of Indonesian language in there, and there's also some English, not very much, a little bit of Japanese. So, for example, the word for knife is a Japanese word.
Which is?
Katana.
Katana.
Yeah. But they had a little Japanese occupation during World War II. Because the Japanese were going to bounce off the island and take over Australia, I think, was their plan.
Wow. Well, they didn't do it, did they?
No.